good. I'll wait. Recording starts. There we go. Well, thanks everyone for joining. As John mentioned, if you don't already know about Creativley, it's a job platform for creatives. We launched in May of 2020. We're both a website, which I'll drop into the chat for sure later so everyone has it. And we're also an app for iPhones. So I'll go ahead and share my screen to really walk you through it. And then at the end, definitely if there are any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. And at the very end, you can even unmute yourself and definitely talk, and we can have a conversation too at the end. So when you first sign into Creativley, for the purpose of this discussion, I'll use our website. So it's just creatively.life. And as you can see here, when you first sign in, you'll be taken to the For You page. So our CEO would say it's kind of like Instagram and LinkedIn had a baby. So we're highly visual. You really get a chance to show off your creative work in a visual way, like you would on something like Instagram that everyone loves. But then you also have the opportunity to connect with brands for job opportunities like you would on LinkedIn. So we'll get into that in a little bit. As you can see here, the For You page will show off relevant projects depending on what you selected when you signed up. So if you're a graphic designer or a fashion designer, we'll curate projects that might be most interesting to you depending on your discipline here in the For You page. And then in the following feed, this is where you'll see any creatives that you explicitly follow. So again, very similar to what you're used to already on something like Instagram. And then from any of these feeds, you can go ahead and click in if you're interested in learning more about a creative or seeing more into a project. So here, Jay is a photographer. We can see this project is his portraits album. So he's able to show off, dissimilar to Instagram, a really wide array of high-res images and videos. So you can see here, there's, a ton of assets. So as the creative, you can definitely include, a lot of assets to really show off your work, not just a carousel of 4 or 5 images. And then we can also go to his page to really see more. So you can set up yours with as many projects as you want, but there will always be kind of these 3 across. So we definitely recommend, if you can, starting out with 3 projects, maybe even 6 if you have it. Of course, as a student, I'm sure, employers understand that you may not have, 15 projects to show off already, but it's nice to start off with 3 just to kind of fill up that first row on Creatively. So there'll always be fixed width, but not necessarily fixed height. So you can see here that some of the images are, different sizing in terms of height, but they'll always have that 3 across layer. So we can see here, this is Jay's Grammy album or Billboard album. So he's showing off his work and then also tagging any brands that he's worked on behalf of. So you can definitely do that. And of course, you can tag University of Michigan. Of course, we're a partner with them on Creatively, so you can tag them in any of the work to show that you did it on behalf of a class. And if you're doing any internships, you can tag the brand associated as well. On the Discover feed, you can go ahead and see, all types of new creative projects that have been uploaded most recently, kind of like Instagram's Explore page. And then you can also always click into any of our trending tags. So if you're a graphic designer, you're looking to connect with others, or maybe finding a creative that could complement your work, you can definitely click into any of these trending tags. And then you can also type up above, we have hundreds of pre-populated tags. So if you're looking for a UX designer or whatever it may be, type it in up above, pop over to skills, and then you can click in there to see, what those projects look like as well, even if they're not one of our trending tags. And then we also, I saw this pop up just a moment ago. I'll head over to our classes page. Typically on a monthly basis, we have our Creatively classes. We paused them. We did have a bit of a hiatus over the summer because we were doing some in-person activations. But we do typically do, and we'll always send out emails if you sign up for Creatively. But our classes are a free educational series that's completely virtual. So you can definitely sign up. There's typically just kind of a wait list, but classes, they fill up fast. So we definitely encourage you to do it. I know it was shared in John's newsletter today. I saw it. But definitely something that's great. There's still seats available right now in all 3 classes. And there's definitely some great ones every time we do portfolio creation. And then we also are doing how to freelance and then NFTs for artists, which is definitely a fun topic right now. We did another NFT focused class last month and it was a huge hit. So that's another one to check out if you're interested. And then the jobs feed is definitely where you can hang out if you're looking for any, freelance roles, full-time roles, internships, whatever it may be. We have all types of roles. You can sort through and filter by type of role, by industry, by your skill set. And these are just some examples, but of course you can go ahead and type in, what's most applicable to you. And we'll automatically bump listings to you that are most relevant to your discipline. So if you're a brand strategist or a creative strategist like I am, you'll be able to see here that these are already pre-checked on the For You page. And then you can also, of course, do location, and you can do remote, which of course we've seen a huge uptick in remote opportunities because of the pandemic. So definitely something great to check out. And then you can also look at all jobs. So that first page was the For You section, but all jobs will just kind of show you, without any filters, what's been added most recently on Creativley. And next, I'll show you some examples of some creatives profiles, just so you can get an idea, some inspiration on how to fill out yours. So Mulan is a student that we worked with at NYU. You can see she's an animator and an illustrator. She shows off her resume, which we definitely include as a nice complement to the creative work, especially as you're applying for jobs. We definitely recommend that you include this. It's something recruiters are certainly looking for. And then you also highlight kind of what are your primary disciplines. So we definitely recommend keeping this list, short, kind of what you're primarily focused on, not anything you've ever done, but kind of what is, most succinctly your specialty. And then of course, creatives can DM you similar to Instagram. They can follow you same way. And then you can see here that Mulan has a ton of great projects, really showing off her creative aesthetic. So other creatives can go and see her work. And then also as she's applying to jobs, recruiters see her work first and foremost. So, as she's applying to these roles, the recruiters are getting a nice view, a nice snapshot of what her creative work looks like before they even, click in or contact her. So we can click in on any of these. As you see with videos, as you hover over, they'll start to play. And then you can also click in on any of these projects to see that she has more assets displayed. And we can click in and view any of these in full screen as well. So she's a really, really cool artist. And then next we have Amelia. She's a graphic designer. We can see here she has a short bio. And then she also has her primary disciplines pointed out. She worked with us on our class of 2021, which is an annual spotlight we give to rising talent. So it's definitely something we'll be doing in the year ahead come the end of the fall semester. So something to look out for, especially if you're a senior. We always love to spotlight talent, especially as you're entering the job market. So please feel free to reach out to me after this too. Once you have a chance to set up your profile, we'd definitely love to work with you to show it off. You can see here all of Amelia's projects. She's got a really fun, funky aesthetic, and we can click in to see more. And some of these I believe she did on behalf of classes. So it's definitely, just even if you don't have any work experience quite yet, we definitely recommend that you still upload the work that you're doing, whether it's in a class or for an internship. And then she also is tagging, the school that she went to, which is, a great way for her to kind of verify, where that work was done and add some credibility to each project. Next, we'll go into Donald Robertson. He's a former Estee Lauder creative director, so definitely a more seasoned creative, but I love showing off his profile because he has a really fun aesthetic. You can see here that he's showing off kind of his work in a mosaic. So it's showing off an entire book, a page of a book. And then his first project is actually his bookstore. So we can click in there, see all the different books that he's done. Again, he's using a mosaic look here as well. And then you can even click in a layer further. So you can continue to nest your albums if you'd like to see a page from inside of this book. So definitely a cool kind of way to think of it. Definitely depending on how your work, is best shown off, but you can decide how it looks best, but definitely want to give you some options of how other creatives are showing off their work. So you can definitely get, a nice view for some, the art of the possible. And then next, I'll head over to a couple of brands just so you can kind of see what those look like. The same way that we work with creatives to make sure that you're showing off, your creative work and showing recruiters what your aesthetic is all about. We definitely encourage brands to do the same. So whether they're a huge name that you're familiar with, like Nickelodeon, to a smaller brand, we definitely ask that they, show off their creative work. Because even if you're familiar with the brand, it's nice to see what types of creative projects they've done most recently, what types of campaigns they're working on, or collections, or partnerships, or things like that. So Nickelodeon is showing off all of their different series. You can see all of their, fun animated characters right on the first page in a nice mosaic. And then you can also click in to see more into each series. So we can click in here on the SpongeBob album to see kind of what that creative has looked like recently. Then I'll show you another example of a different type of brand. Vera Shop is a clothing, online retailer. We can see here that they're showing off kind of an about us. What are their primary categories that they sell on Vera Shop? What can you expect to find there? And then you can also click in to really see more into each one. So they're, again, nesting their albums, which you can definitely do on your page as well. So lastly, I'll show you how to kind of create a project, and then we can definitely head into any questions. You just go up here, create project, and it's super intuitive. You put in a project name and description. That's the only information that's necessary. The rest is optional, but we definitely recommend a few of them. If you're adding in your skills, that's a great way to increase discoverability on the platform. So if you're a graphic designer or an illustrator, go ahead and type in those skills, and definitely tagging it, as other people are searching for graphic design projects, your project is more likely to pop up if you've tagged those skills. Location, brand, in this case, school could definitely be relevant too. So Penny Stamp School of Art and Design, you can definitely tag. You can go ahead and do that. Any collaborators you've worked with. So as you're kind of all onboarding, if you have any classmates or colleagues that you've worked with, definitely, if they're on Creatively, great. My colleague Michelle's already on Creatively, but if I wanted to add a different Michelle, I would just go invite, add in her email, and it would prompt her to become a collaborator on this project, which is a great way that we've seen our community grow kind of organically, by people adding in who they've already worked with. So we definitely encourage you to do that. And then here, you just drop in any of your assets. The first one will automatically show up as that cover photo on your main page. And then any additional assets, whether video or images that you upload, will automatically be nested within that first image, like we were seeing in the examples. And then these are all of the file types, but as long as they're good quality, high res images or videos, they should be fine. You can always, email me if you're having any issue with it. And videos just need to be under 4 minutes in length. So I'll go ahead and leave it there. Definitely happy to answer any questions. I see there's a few in the chat already. So let me go ahead, maybe stop sharing and take a quick look there. And if we need to pop back in, we can. Cool. Is there a creative resume class? Okay, so I see John's already answered, but a few things. Let me drop in a few links that could be helpful. So first off, Creatively. Oh, it looks like John's already got that there. Our classes are a great place to start. So a member of our team typically leads this section, and we do a portfolio class every month. So it's definitely a great thing to check out. And we have a lot of our classes also available on our YouTube channel if you ever want to check out, any previous classes that we've done. So I'll put that in the chat as well. Oh, looks like it's not. I'm having a there we go. There we go. I can give John the info on the YouTube channel. It looks like it's having an issue. I'm having an issue with the chat. Anything else? Any other questions?
So first of all, Lindsay, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
One question that I have, so I go to the job postings on Creatively, and I see something that's really interesting to me. If I click on that, am I applying while I'm still on the Creatively site, or does that take me to the employer site?
Yeah, that's a great question. So early on, we heard that feedback from brands that they wanted the option to send creatives externally to their, to their site or their careers page. So it's something that we give brands the option to do. But either way, if you're pressing apply on Creatively, the brand recruiter will see that on our end of things, no matter what. But if it does prompt you to their site externally, and sometimes it will and sometimes it won't, it's totally up to the brand. We definitely encourage you to, continue to fill out the application there, because of course, if the recruiter has selected that option, they'd like to see the fuller application be filled out on their end. So definitely doesn't hurt, and we recommend that you finalize it there, but they'll see it in Creatively no matter what.
This is great because once I click on apply, they will prompt the recruiter to actually look at my work
Yes,
on
definitely.
Creatively without me having to send anything else to them. They have access to all
Mhm.
the stuff I've posted there.
Exactly. Yeah. So we definitely recommend you first take the time to build out your portfolio and get it in a great place where you would feel proud to have a recruiter look at it. And then definitely, apply to those roles that make the most sense for you, because, recruiters are going to see your work front and center. So it's a great way to get it in front of them.
Yeah, Natalie has a great question here. Can you see that okay?
Yeah. So for STAMP students, we need a portfolio, and I have one on Adobe. Is the site in addition to your own portfolio? Yeah. So you can do a few things. I mean, I would say on Creatively, kind of show off, the 3 or 6 projects that you're maybe most proud of, as a place to start out. It is separate from kind of another portfolio site. You can't, upload something directly from another site, but it's pretty easy to create a project. You can spend a little bit of time just kind of building out your Creatively portfolio. It doesn't have to have every single thing you've ever worked on, but kind of the things that you want to show off, to a recruiter, kind of your most prominent work. And then from there, you can also definitely in your bio or in a description, if you want to link to your website, or, another profile or your Instagram, you can definitely do that. I mean, definitely Creatively is intended to be kind of the place to show off your work. But if you have another place that you're showing it off that you want to also drive traffic to, you can, include it in your bio. Mulan did that in her bio. So you can check that out.
Very cool.
Yeah.
If I'm an employer, um, and I don't necessarily want to post an opportunity, can I just jump on Creatively and search what's there without posting anything?
Good question, John. You can, but I will say our kind of paid memberships. And FYI, Creatively is totally free for creatives. Our kind of mission is to find creatives work. So we don't want to have any financial barrier there on the creatives end of things. But for brands, we charge them to post their roles. So it's very similar to how something like LinkedIn operates. So I have heard this question before from brands, can we just sign up and search and DM people? You can, but it's definitely going to get you a lot more, with a paid subscription. You have access to a recruiter dashboard, where we will automatically recommend qualified applicants for your role, kind of based on the discipline, the location, all of that. So you definitely get, more, there's nothing stopping someone from just DMing someone to, collaborate with them or ask them about a role, but, you'll get a lot. You get what you pay for, basically. If you're signing up for a paid membership, obviously you get the perks that go along with that. And on the recruiter end, it's definitely, worth it. And then of course their listing, gets bumped in a variety of ways. So if if you're a brand that we're working with on a paid basis, your brand will be promoted in our weekly top jobs features. Depending on your subscription, it will also be bumped to creatives in the For You page. So when they go to their, jobs feed, your listing is there. So you'll be able to have people, reaching out to you. And then we also, similar to LinkedIn, send out emails all the time that says, this role may interest you. So we're actively going out to creatives and promoting, your listing as a brand. And then same thing, you're having creatives come to you. So you're just getting, a much better experience if you're trying to hire for a role, if you're using, one of our memberships. But if brands aren't hiring for whatever reason, at the moment, they can always, it's super flexible. So they can, become just a standard brand that's not posting any jobs, still have that brand page presence. And then if they want to post a job, they can always let us know and, kind of toggle on and off of a paid subscription as needed based on their hiring needs.
Great. And Sarah has her hand up. Hi, Sarah.
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you so much for showing us like kind of around the platform. It's really helpful to just like walk through it.
Yeah.
I was wondering, when in the job portion of like the job search, is there a way to save like different job positions to like your profile so you can go back and look at them and like apply all at once, or like star them or something like that?
That's a good question. Right now, there's not. Kind of on the other side of things, the recruiters can save applicants, but we don't have it set up in the other direction. But that's a great, piece of feedback. I'll definitely take that to our product team because I really like that idea. At the moment, there's not, but of course, you can always apply in the moment, or keep the link open or something.
Yeah,
like
bookmark it. Yeah, totally. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
One of the things in my interactions with Lindsay that has been incredible is Creatively is very open
Yeah, to
to
feedback.
suggestions. So again, I love that Sarah asked this question, and Lindsay's immediate response was like, "Oh, what a great idea!"
Yeah, I
Um,
like that.
yeah, creatively never responds with, "Oh, that's impossible," or "We won't do that." The
And
response is always, "Let's look at that."
yeah, totally. I mean, we're really new. We launched in May of 2020. So we love hearing from brands. We love hearing from creatives. Our CEO loves feedback, good or bad. So let me drop into, I'll put in, of course, my email, but our feedback email is great. If you're having any issues, and I'll put in mine too. It's the same. It's just lindsay@creatively.life. And we definitely mean it. We, have the whole marketing team that, is looking for great profiles to spotlight. So when you set up your profile with, a bunch of projects and it's in a great space, please feel free to reach out to us about spotlight opportunities. We do a class of 2020 this year, 2022, each year. So that's another opportunity where we love to spotlight talent. But even if it's not for that particular spotlight, we spotlight creatives on an ongoing basis. So definitely happy to, chat with you, even if you're not, that opportunity is for seniors, but even if you're not a senior, we'd be happy to work with you to show off your work.
I love it.
Yeah.
Other questions that people have today?
We've done a lot of good ones so far.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have
Go
another question.
Oh,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, just wondering, like, is this more for like graphic design, or could this be for like visual art as well?
Yeah. I mean, definitely visual art. We would say that anything that's kind of not, summed up on a black and white resume, Creatively is a great space for, because it really gives you those portfolio tools to show off anything that's, visual. Yeah, but and we're growing every day. So there's always going to be more and more job opportunities, more and more brands joining. So definitely just keep an eye out in the jobs feed. But yeah, I mean, if you have any specific questions, definitely feel free to email me, but I would say it's great for visual artists.
So Gita has the question, what's the best place to make your portfolio onto brand? So um, Gita, there's a couple different ways to interpret that question. One is there a more or less effective portfolio platform like Squarespace or My Portfolio with Adobe? Um, so I'm not quite clear, and if you want to unmute to clarify for us, that would be great.
Totally.
Yeah, hi, I'm Rida. I'm wondering, so I don't have a portfolio yet, and I've had a lot of artworks, and I've already done classes at Stamps. I don't know, I want to start a portfolio, and I'm not sure if I should do a website. I don't know what's the best way for brands to like recognize my work and like appreciate it.
Yeah, really good question. And the answer is all of the above.
Yeah, be all of the above. There you go. Yeah, it never hurts to have, multiple kind of avenues for where you're showing off your work. And Creatively is one option that, we're working with a ton of great brands. Since we launched, we now have 1,800 brands on the platform, which is definitely growing rapidly. We also have 250,000 creatives. So it's always the chicken and the egg. We're always adding more creatives and more brands. But it's definitely a great place to, connect with brands and show off your work, as a starting point, and kind of gives you practice on how to build out your portfolio. You can always change things and add and subtract kind of as you, do more creative work.
Yeah, and yeah, what I would say is, um, when you're first getting started, posting projects to a site like Creatively or to a site like Behance before you actually create a web portfolio is a great way to just get your work out there, because you may not be completely ready to have your own web portfolio in the beginning, but platforms like Creatively give you a way to get started. They also give you a way to look at other people's work and what other people are doing, to gain inspiration. The big plus for Creatively is that, employers will see your work. So if the goal is to make sure that your work gets in front of potential employers, Creatively is a really good way to get started with that. Other questions?
I thought of also, I'm just dropping in another link. I know there's so many, but if you look up the Creatively page on Creatively, that's kind of like our FAQ. It'll tell you how to nest albums. It'll kind of give you those tips and tricks. So if you're ever kind of need a refresh, on our site, type in Creatively into the search bar, and that's a good place to look also.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I forget about it too. It's kind of Creatively within Creatively.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Um,
Thank
so
you.
yeah, so Lindsay, is there anything that you would like to just kind of wrap things up with for today?
Yeah. I mean, I think, check out the site, check out the app, whichever way you want to use it, create a first project, check it out, and then definitely stay in touch. If you have any questions, John and I are both here to definitely help. And, stay in contact with us, reach out and feedback, reach out to me directly. But something I always hear our CEO say is, he wishes that he had kind of stayed in touch with people early on, as he was kind of first starting out, because you never know kind of how those relationships are going to develop. So, definitely if this is something you're interested in, we're more than happy to work with you. We're still a really small team and love kind of finding new, great rising talent, senior talent, whatever it is, to really, connect with and promote on our social and all of that. So definitely, stay in touch with us, and I'm excited to see your portfolios.
Oh,
Oh, excuse me. I have one question.
oh,
Yeah.
go for it, check-in.
Yeah. So you mentioned how like each like profile has usually one very specific thing you want companies to see. But what if you're like interested in like two things, like both animation and graphic design, or comics and animation, or stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think those two go together really well. I think as long as kind of it tells a cohesive story, as to kind of what you're interested in, what you've done, then to me, I mean, I don't see any issue with that. I think, those types of topics also, sound like they mesh really well together and kind of go hand in hand anyway. So, illustration, graphic design, animation, they're all within the same kind of wheelhouse of, digital art. So definitely something to totally fine to have those multiple disciplines.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great question. Thank you, Shakim.
Yeah. Thank you.
So anything else before we wrap up today? Are we good? All right. Lindsay, every interaction I have with you is just so wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
Um,
guys for joining. This was so fun. I love
and
chatting with you.
yeah, and I will continue to remind people that Creatively is there. It's ever growing and evolving, and if they have questions, and I can't answer them, Lindsay is, really
Yeah.
great at getting back to people. So thank you, and everyone have a lovely weekend. I'm gonna hit the stop record